Uh, if it wasn't for John, because John had said something on Twitter, and I think he had just posted, and we had this talk earlier. It was the GIF of Muriel, too much macaroni, too cheesy, not enough cheese, too much macaroni. Right? He
Yeah.
posted something on Twitter, and then I had made the comment underneath it and said, "This hits harder when you have kids." Seeing this as a kid was funny because you're like, oh, I probably did that as a kid. Seeing that, 20 years later, whatever it was, and having a kid and seeing your kid actually do that, you're like, holy shit, this must have happened to whoever wrote this. And he wrote three little words. He wrote David Steven Cohen. That's all he wrote. And going like, holy shit, why haven't I reached out to David yet? And I reached out to you and you came on the podcast, and I've wanted to ask you this. How did that come about? Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, there was an episode where I can't remember the whole thing, but Muriel essentially, well, you wrote it. Shit, man.
It's little Muriel. Little Muriel.
Muriel, tell us about this.
Well, it came from idea of John's, uh, and I forget exactly how specific it was, but the idea was Muriel somehow winds up going through a tornado and is transformed into her young self. A little side note there. At that 20th anniversary reunion, I was complimenting Thea on her performance, but it wasn't her.
Really?
She said that John wanted she said, he said that she didn't, I could be getting it wrong. So, but there was, it's like she wasn't sounding, and I understand this, she wasn't sounding young enough and they didn't want to tweak her voice. Maybe, I don't know. But, and I didn't want to ask her too much about it because I didn't know if it was a sore spot.
Yeah.
But I know that it's a heavily memed moment in the cartoon, and I vividly remember writing it, and it was in part, yes, my experience with my children. My kids at the time were, I guess, about 10 and 5, so they'd been through a lot of macaroni and cheese experiences. and then I just, tweaked it a bit, and I thought about kids who were far nastier than mine, and how, Courage as the surrogate parent now to his surrogate mother, has to deal with this, and he doesn't want to yell at her, but you want to just like,
Oh yeah.
send give her a timeout. But I just remember the rhythm of it and writing it, and more, more cheese, more macaroni, more cheese, not enough cheese, not enough macaroni. And then just, I hate macaroni and cheese. This is like the closest I can come to doing the accent is that one, because I've heard that scene over and over and over again. There's a wonderful distortion of that scene on YouTube that I've seen, where it's just like slowed down and sped up and turned upside down. It's like, too much macaroni, not enough cheese, too much cheese, not enough macaroni. And it's like very, I mean, it's perfect for Courage, to if it were a different kind of character, that's what the way the voice would have gone, but yeah, that's exactly what kids would do, and this was not an empathetic child. This is a child pre-empathy. Muriel is extremely empathetic as an adult. She learned something. So that, yeah, I don't remember if the macaroni and cheese incident in its entirety. I don't remember where, if I came up with the idea. I remember executing the idea.
Yeah.
I remember writing it. And usually I remember if I thought of it, but it feels so much like it's in the ether now. I don't remember if it came from me or John, sort of as a conception. And it was very sweet of him to point you in my direction.